The Chennai Super Kings, they were turning back the clock in this one in terms of romping past Rajasthan by 45 runs. We'll dissect it with the Butcher on Criclytics Man vs Machine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Butcher in the preview for this one called Chennai Super Kings, the Rolling Stones. And they certainly roll back the years. And Mark will get straight into it because it was, of course, spin capitulation for Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fabulous delivery, wasn't it, from Jadeja? And just think, you know, Wankhede Stadium, you're thinking about Dew, you're thinking about the ball skidding on, and him getting one to grip and turn like that. There was an incident in the over, his previous over, in the 10th over, where Jos Buttler hit him out of the park, and they didn't find the ball. They didn't get the ball back that had got soggy and had been affected by the dew. And then when they got their hands on the drier ball, all of a sudden it started to spin big. Jadeja got the 2 wickets in the over. I mean, the wicket of Dubey was probably a good one as far as Rajasthan were concerned. He played not a good innings at the other end from Jos Buttler in that partnership, and just allowed Chennai to build some pressure. But the wicket of Buttler really did mess things up. Then they end up with the 2 left-handers at the crease, and Moeen Ali comes in and finishes the whole thing off. I mean, what a magnificent set of figures they are. Three wickets for 7 runs for Moeen. So, yeah, listen, humble pie to be eaten for me. The Rolling Stones have had another hit, and and I'm off to burn this pink jumper.
Yeah, I was going to come to that. And let's talk about the yellow jumper, of course, which are not donning right now. But generally, the men from Chennai, they lost the toss, Butch, but they always had, of course, the spin elements to bring into the game. They were always in front of the 8 ball. But more importantly, the way they batted as well, right? I'll give you a stat. 188 for 9 is what they got. Du Plessis was a high score of 33. Now, this is the highest score by any team in the IPL with a score of a batsman scoring 40 or less. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, you know, sometimes it is a team game. Sometimes in T20 cricket, not often, but sometimes you need all of that depth. You know, quite often you'd sort of look at it and go, well, how often do numbers 7, 8, 9, Jack have anything to do, particularly when you're setting a total? But one thing that having that depth does allow is it allows everyone to maintain a high strike rate. You know, with the exception of poor old Gaikwad at the top of the order, who's having an absolute nightmare. Pretty much the rest of CSK were able to go out there and give it a bit of a slam. MS Dhoni perhaps also the only one struggling with his strike rate. But because I think Bravo coming in at 9 or 10. Thakur, who can also, who's also very, very handy, comes in below him. I think he was at 10. That depth means that you can just keep the tempo up right the way through the innings. And I suppose it doesn't matter if one player doesn't get in and stay in. If everybody just keeps going, you can post big scores without one individual contribution.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what matters, the fact that you've not fared so well in terms of Criclytics Man vs Machine today. You lost, of course, the first one, you've lost the second one. It came back to bite you, Butch. We'll, of course, unfold the predictions, but the batsmen first. You went for Faf du Plessis. I mean, beg your pardon, the Criclytics Machine went with Faf du Plessis. You went with Jos Buttler. That made you go 1-0 up. He could have actually brought it home if he just solved Jadeja, right?
Well, yeah, he could have done. There was still quite a long way to go. I mean, let's not make any mistakes here. He still had a lot of work to do. But you do feel that was a pivotal moment in the run chase, because he had just gone into 5th, 6th gear, hadn't he, Jos Buttler? And so, yeah, huge wicket. You saw the way that Chennai celebrated once they'd knocked him over. It was a huge moment in the match. But, I'm happy to take the point.
Yeah, I mean, you went 1-0 up, and that was, unfortunately, your only point on the night, because if you look at the bowlers, you called, of course, you went for Jaydev Unadkat, who went for none for 40. He batted better than he bowled, funnily enough. And Wayne Bravo, he picked up just 1 wicket, but the top bowler was Chetan Sakaria. Now, of course, Rajasthan have a plethora of left-armers. We saw that today. We saw that in the last game. How much has the youngster impressed you? Because you find these hidden gems in the IPL, and Sakaria is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, nobody pulled his name out of the hat, did they? Not even the Machine. So the Machine doesn't get a point for that, does he?
No, it doesn't. It stays 1-0 to you at this moment in time.
Good. No, I mean, that's always been the beauty of it, isn't it? The scouting the value of a player that is as yet unheard of, and is cheap, is huge when it comes to auctions. And so the scouting regimes of all of the teams, think of John Wright and the job that he's done for Mumbai over the years, is incredibly important. And because of that, and because it's the dream of virtually every youngster in India, male or female now, to sort of to end up in an IPL team, the incentive for these guys from, as you quite rightly put it, from nowhere to hone their skills, train hard and practice hard and hope that somebody comes along and spots them is huge. And of course there are academies and all the other, the network is so wide now. India taking full advantage of that huge population. And because of that, you are seeing a huge amount of young quick bowlers coming out of India, country that was, beforehand was known only for spin bowlers and batsmen. And it's done wonders for the sort of the strength and depth of the Indian cricket.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few. So Arshdeep, of course, with Punjab Kings the other night. Zakaria is blossoming into some other talent that India could probably hone in the future. Let's move on to the all-rounders, because you touched upon Moeen Ali and his sensational performance with the ball, but even with the bat, that 26 was handy at the time to give CSK a little bit of impetus after that little slow start. He was, of course, the man to get Criclytics back into the scheme of things. 1-1 is what it became here. You couldn't really shout against that, could you?
No, not really. I said in the preview that he might not even bowl. I mean, how wrong can you be? All of a sudden, Wankhede Stadium, middle of the night, is turning square. So I mean, look, there's not much you can do about that. And it was a heck of a performance from Moeen. Yeah,
there was that poll question put out where the commentators were kind of chuckling between each other about who brings more value, whether it's Moeen Ali or Sam Curran. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, I think it's a difficult one to split, isn't it? I mean, at one point, Sam Curran picking up the wicket of Sanju Samson, picked up 2 wickets in the power play. Has performed brilliantly. He also came in and slammed a few at the back end. You were talking about those high strike rates. So, look, I think they've got a couple of gems there. And interestingly enough, it is the kind of the younger players who have come out and done the job for CSK tonight, with the sort of added youth. The youth and vigour of the silky beard of Jadeja as well into that, and you've got some terrific performances there.
Yeah, I was not going to be surprised if Jadeja won the all-rounder of the evening, because at the end of the day he was pocketing catches for fun. 4 is what he took, and that's some sort of record. I think he shares a record right now with Tendulkar, Tewatia, Warner. Strange names on that list in an IPL game. But let's move on to, of course, the wicket-keepers. And Criclytics and Mark Butcher called wrong in this one. Mark, it was actually MS Dhoni to get more runs than Sanju Samson. It doesn't happen that often, but it happened tonight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, neither of them made 10, did they? And Sanju Samson only made 1. So it wasn't a vintage evening for either of them by any means. And Sanju managed to pocket a catch, didn't he? But that wasn't enough to win to get either of us over the line. So there's life in Dhoni yet, obviously.
And at this stage it was 1-1, and then it was a corner. It was a late flick on far post header, 2-1 against Crystal Palace. No, I'm actually narrating the Criclytics Mark Butcher versus the machine sort of tale which panned up, because of course he called wrongly in terms of the result. He went for the Blues and the Pinks of the Royals because he was, of course, adamant that they were going to win, but it wasn't. It was the Rolling Stones, like you put it.
Yeah, and I think that's one against the head as well. I mean, look, there are all kinds of reasons why a team will go down in a run chase of 9 and over. However, I'm not sure that anybody, I'm not sure that even the Criclytics machine factored in spin like that at the back end of an innings at Wankhede Stadium, which is the beauty of cricket, isn't it? You can look at all of the numbers and you can sort of know what you know about a certain venue, and then on any given night, the players can make an idiot of us all. And the machine wins again.
He wins again, but I think he'll play catch-up eventually. Just a quick word on CSK before we finish here, Mark. The fact that, are they showing signs of how they used to be in the past? Can they contend for that top 4? Because, of course, you initially scratched them out. Yeah,
of course they can. I mean, look, even Sunrisers sitting down there at the bottom could make a run and get up there. There are a heck of a lot of games to go. Any number of things can scupper a team or fire a team into action. So look, there's a hell of a long way to go yet. And look, at any team that has got the quality players, particularly the quality all-rounders that CSK have. Plus, we're going to be moving venues to places like to Delhi, Ahmedabad as well, where the ball may well turn. So, CSK might well find things to be much more to their liking in the second half of the tournament anyway.
Yeah, with those words of wisdom, we'll let you be, Mark. We appreciate your time, and there's, of course, more to catch up with you. Of course, not to forget that double header on Wednesday, which is probably a first in the IPL of sorts. But on that note, we'll take your leave. Right, so that was Mark Butcher just sharing insight on how things could look for CSK. You can check out all of it in the cricket.com app, and of course join us on our social media handles. That's all we have this evening. Thanks for watching. It's a goodbye from us.